Good morning, guys. So I was planning on doing this video tomorrow, but my plans for today did drastically change, so I'm going to do it now. So we have the Arwen 1/6 scale collectible figure from Asmus Toys. So looking at the box, it is that slimline box that they've been doing for a lot of their more limited characters, because a lot of these characters that I've been doing, Bilbo, Thorin, Eramir, Arwen, they're all limited to 1 of 1500. So there aren't that many of them around, and I find it a lot cheaper to order directly from Asmus rather than through pop culture. Not only do you get the figure a lot quicker, it is a lot cheaper. So I paid I did pay about $200 for Bilbo, I think it is, and he's on the website on Pop Culture for $280, and then Thorin Oakenshield is $320, and I think I only paid around $280 for him. Might even have been a little bit less than that, because the standard price for these is $199 USD, and you don't pay. It's free postage, which is quite nice. So you see that the box has the has a still from the film there. I believe it's when she's holding Frodo, where she's on the horse, galloping. And we can see that there's this Lord of the Rings, one ring symbol kind of going around there, but then it cuts around to the Elvish pattern. So, accessories. Now she does have a variety of different hands. Now, sorry guys, the kitten in the background is going absolutely spastic. She does have 2 of these kind of hands. I don't know. When I played the audio from the clip there, I wasn't really paying too much attention to it, but I'm not sure if she kind of waves her hands when she's speaking the words for the river. But she does kind of have this gesturing hand here. Could also be maybe I'm going to reach out and grab Aragorn's hand. I don't know. It's just a weird gesturing hand. And this is the one for the other side. So you do get left and right. You do also get this kind of joked under this force push kind of hand. I've got the other one on her already. Just because I thought it looked cool posed up like that. And then she does come with the 2 relaxed palms. Now what's interesting as well is she does have this. Now I had it, when I took the photo last night, I had her holding the sword in this hand. But I believe that this hand, because it's wider, I found, and I'll talk a bit more about it when I go into the articulation, but I found the sword didn't really fit all that well in here. I think this hand here is for the sheath. And again, when I watched the clip, she actually does draw the sword with the other hand. So I originally had this hand holding the sword, but I believe that's incorrect, and I will get to that shortly. So let's look at the Lady Arwen herself. So I have got her on the display stand, simply for the fact that due to the weight of the sword, I don't think she can really stand all that well by herself. Now you can see that the body is holding, the wrist peg kind of drops down every so often depending on what angle you've got it at, you can see. But the body does do a fairly decent job of holding the sword up as if she's just drawn it. Again, you can see that force pushing hand type of thing. But the reason why I originally did have a look at the clip to see which hand she drew the sword was this arm here. And again, people knock Sideshow for this type of stuff all the time. But remember, this is a die-cast weapon, so expect it to happen. This hand here, this arm here, was dropping quite a fair bit when I had the sword in her hand, which you can see when she's got nothing in there, it's quite a solid, stiff joint. But yeah, the weight of the sword kind of made it drop down a lot. This arm here still did drop down a little bit depending on where I had it. Like, you can't have it there, because that will drop down. But remember, it is a die-cast weapon, so the fact that she can hold it at this height is quite impressive for the type of body that Asmus does use. And you can have her holding it straight up like that. So looking at the sculpt, now, I reckon they did a pretty good job. It is a lot, it's a lot better than the initial, prototype pre-order pictures that they put up. And you can definitely tell that it's Liv Tyler as Arwen, and we can see her ears. Now, I really like what they've done with the hair. It's a mixture, so you've got the sculpted bit there, and then the sides, do have the real bit of hair coming down. So it's a little bit like what they did with Tariel. So this here is real hair, and coming along to the back, it continues. And I do apologize, it's very overcast today, so a lot might not come through as nice as I would like it. Now, so you have these braids, which is like a fabricy material. It is, the instructions do say, so these braids here, they're sculpted, and it does say not to pull on them or not to move them around. You can see that it holds in place the rest of the rooted hair going in behind. And you can see that that rooted hair does continue down a fair bit, like it would in the film. So I really do like what they've done with the hair. It's quite impressive. Now, the outfit itself, which I'll talk about now, is very film accurate, as all Asmus figure outfits are. Oh, I kind of moved her legs there a bit. So the outfit itself is extremely accurate. However, because of the simplicity of what she wears, I feel it's very delicate. So you can see that there's these, I'm hoping they show up alright. I'm just gonna put the sword down a bit. You can see that there's these ironed-on sections with the pattern going down the sleeves. Now, the instructions do say not to rub over it or anything, because the iron on whatever it is could come off. So that's something to be mindful of. I don't believe, like, what I was doing, moving the arm and stuff, that shouldn't affect it, because it's not covering it or anything. It's not actually touching. This hand, again, it's very hard to see, but you can see it there. It's a little bit more crinkled because of the position of the hand, but again, I don't think, if you're not going to be moving the figures a lot, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's definitely not going to be anything as bad as the really tight pants on Iron Spider or anything like that. Now, she does have the Elven brooch belt there, which is very nicely done. It's not die cast, but it gives that metal look. Then we have this undersection, which again feels very delicate. It's just very thin material. And then you have these pants. So, like, the whole outfit itself is very thin. Like, if I pick up this fabric, you can see how thin this piece of fabric is. And I assume it's just because it's to feel light, and we don't really see, especially Arwen, she doesn't really get into much fighting. So I guess it's just because, just to make it look light and fluffy and elvish, I guess. But then we have the sculpted boots, which are quite nice, and the ankle, I want to say it's separate, but I don't think, it is a separate piece, but I don't think the ankle. Ooh, I don't think the ankle articulation is there. I will put that in the comments, or I'll just pick her up in a sec. But I'll have to put the phone down. Jeez, everything's happening on the goddamn street today. Alright, so again, because of the outfit, you do get a lot of articulation out of it. I'll just see if I can. Yeah, so the ankle there doesn't, it does kind of rotate a little bit, but it's more the whole leg. So that's not on a joint or anything, it's just two separate pieces kind of stuck together. So you can't really get that ankle pivot there. But like I said, this is for the price that I paid, against the price that pop culture is trying to sell it for, it's a pretty decently priced figure, especially that we don't often, especially with Hot Toys, and that we don't usually get such obscure characters like this. And it is really cool that we did get Arwen. Hopefully Galadriel or even Elrond is in the works. Asmus currently have gone back to Devil May Cry. They're doing a retro Dante as their next project, but it should hopefully their next Lord of the Rings does get announced. I can't remember if they were teasing anything. There was one YouTube reviewer that was quite disappointed because Asmus didn't have anything to unveil at Toy Fair other than the Dante. And, well, I mean, they've already given us so much in the last 3 to 4 months that I didn't think they really needed to. Because we had Bilbo shipped early December, but I didn't pick him up until later. Thorin shipped late December, and Eomer shipped early this month, and then we get Arwen like 2 weeks later. So in between December and now, they've given us 4 outstanding figures. Now this is the die-cast sword, so it is a plastic handle, as with all of them, but you can see that the blade is die-cast, and that means that they get to cut in all the awesome runes. So we can see the elvish pattern going up. We have her runes for her sword. Again, I cannot for the life of me remember if this is a named weapon or not, or whether it's just an elvish blade. So, again, they got that exact same pattern going on both sides. And even the handle, even though it's not die-cast, has a really cool pattern going through it. And like I said, the body can hold it up quite well, considering that it is a die-cast weapon. So we get a lot of articulation out of her. Like I said, the outfit itself is quite delicate, and even with the arms, we can see that we get that very light fabric underneath that again. And then you do have to be careful of the back section of the hair, as it does say that you can really mess up the hair by playing with those plastic, especially if you snap one off, those plastic sculpted bits at the back there. But I believe it, for the most part, you can definitely tell it's Liv Tyler, and you can definitely tell that it's Lady Arwen. Again, Asmus do outfits perfectly. And if you, this is from the riding scene. It was interesting, but they didn't do a luxury version for this one, where maybe she had a horse. I think Asmus, I know they've offered horses with the ring wraiths and the mouth of Sauron. I skipped those 2 figures, simply because at the time they were way out of price, and I was way too busy with Star Wars, and yeah, I was way too busy with Star Wars. But yeah, $1.99 USD. She might even, this one might have been a little bit cheaper. I can't quite remember, because you pay the $20 deposit, and then they charge you the remainder when it ships. And they are getting a lot quicker as most at processing, I will say. I got very unlucky with Eremer in the fact that he got caught up in the Chinese New Year. But this was only about 6 days between getting the shipping notification and her arriving, which is better than Australia Post in most cases. Even though, I mean, Australia Post delivered her, but I meant like coming from overseas, 6 days is a lot better than Australia Post. The next figure that I will do, hopefully on Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, is the Arya Stark from 3.0. It's just come into stock with Pop Culture. Again, it's probably a lot cheaper to buy it direct from 3.0, but there was no pre-order bonus, I don't think, and I don't like the fact that you have to pay in advance with those guys. So I decided to wait a while. So yeah, overall, I'm really liking this figure, and I hope we get more elves. So obviously she joins Tariel and Legolas and Theandriel. If Asmus continue to do these low numbered one of 1,500 figures, and we get some more obscure characters, I'm all for it. And it will be interesting to see if they do decide to offer a horse later on. Anyway guys, thanks for watching.